Hey guys, Stefan here. How are you? I'm excited to release the beta for 3.3 Luma Pro, and the topic of this conversation is about color. And just to give you a quick sneak peek, what I've done is I've added an entire new color system to Luma Pro, and you can see it flying here. Oh, the video recording's not going super fast here. All right, well, it is what it is. Okay, so let's talk about color a little bit before we get into it. So if you look at theatrical lighting or any of this sort of lighting and studio lighting and whatnot, if you want color, what you typically do is you'll have a spotlight or a strobe, and you put something on the front of it called a gel. And I think it's probably the material it was made out how it's got its name, gel. But let me give you an example of this being done here. This is a photographer here who did a shot that looks like this, and what you can see is multiple colors of light. And if you look how this person did this shoot, let me zoom in on this here. What you can see is that there's a different gel. There's the violet and cyan gel sitting on here, and then they used another gel, I think, when they were all done to light the background. But the method of doing this allows you to get some fine control of color. Well, what color did I have in Luma Pro first? It was all based on colors from Photoshop. And these are very common colors here. So for example, if I went to the photo filter in Photoshop, there was a set of colors here. And these are the same colors that we included into Luma Pro. And it's a fairly limited set of colors. Obviously, there's more colors. And the goal of this particular project was to try to improve the use of color. So let's take a look at color for a second. We have R and G and B. And these are the additive colors. So you can see when red, green, and blue are added together, you get the white, and you end up with a set of colors. There's kind of another cool way to look at this thing here. This was projected by somebody, and I liked what they did. So guess what I did? I went and did the same thing here. So I have here 3 projectors, 1, 2, 3, and let me turn the lights down. Night will do here, and we effectively did the same thing in Luma Pro here. So I have a red light, a green light, and a blue light, and you can see how the additive color works. So if you get back to color theory, and let me set, oops, I just set my home here. Gotta love it. If you take a look at color, a lot of times the way it's projected is as a wheel, and here's an example of a color wheel. I made this in Photoshop fairly quickly and brought it into Second Life. And as if you drew an arc around these colors here, you would end up with this set of colors around the outside here. Well, one way to do it is it gets darker in the center or it gets lighter in the center. But the reality is the primary colors are really on the outside of the wheel here, and you can represent that same thing here as a vertical stripe like I did here. And the vertical stripe gives you, I think, a slightly better user interface to work with. So let me show you the color interface. Let me turn the intensity on here. The color interface that I put in, that I'm proposing for this beta here. So I've got a 4th projector sitting here. He's locked down for the moment. If I set his intensity all the way to 1, now it's projecting a white. Let's pick some different colors in here. So let's say, for example, if I wanted to pick all red, all green, and all blue, you end up with the white being projected on the wall. I could subtract all the red, and you end up in the aquas. I can subtract all the greens, and now we're just projecting the blue. I can pick something in the middle, etc. So what I ended up doing was giving a simple red, green, and blue, or you have the color wheel here. So like, for example, if I pick the blue, you can see that it slid over into the blue and cut out the red and green. If I click in the yellow, that's red and green. I can click it up a little bit more. These are all these fully saturated colors. And by that, I mean what you'll see is one of these colors is going to be pegged all the way across here from a brightness perspective. Now, 2 ways you can change the brightness. I can obviously go into the intensity and just turn down the brightness. I can change it down to 0.3 or 0, or turn the light back on here. Or what I can do is I've got this grayscale thing here. So let's pick a color that we like at the moment here. Something like that. And we'll say, I like the same thing, but I'd like to make it a little darker in saturation. What I can do is I can just click down here, and you can see the effect as it moves these things down here. Makes it darker. Unfortunately, the transmissivity is what it's called in the technical term. It goes down. But Same on the whites. As I push it more and more and more, it just goes white. If I set it in the middle, then it goes in the middle. I can pick the colors. Now, these are all the colors that in the world, and this is the beautiful thing of online. In the real world, obviously, we can't just sit there and turn a dial and change colors here. So there are companies that sell gels. And as I mentioned before, what the gel is a semi-transparent material that takes a white light and changes it to a different color. So from examples of this, here's a set of projector lights here that have the gels over them. So what a company called Roscoe does is they sell a set of colors, and you can see these colors here. Here's an example of their complete color catalog that they have, and when you buy it, you buy a particular color. It comes on a roll like Christmas paper, and you can just pick the various colors that you need for your studio lighting. So if I go over to Roscoe, what you'll find is that they have their color catalog. And if I go over to their color catalog, what you're going to see here is the list of the colors that they typically offer commercially. Well, I did the same thing here. I can now pick oops, I didn't do the Roscoe. I did GAM. I'll get the Roscoe back in here. Let's do the Lee one for a second here. These are the color that's available through the Lee catalog, and you can just sit there and walk through this catalog here. And if you find a color you like the, let's go apricot here, you can see that it sets the colors over in here. So just to show you what Lee is another company that makes color, and here's all of their colors here. So I can pick I want something kind of in this color set here, and I wonder if we can find this one that I used here. But in either case, I can walk through the Lee catalog and get the same thing. So in either case, you have color picking multiple ways. You can pick the color manually yourself by selecting the reds, greens, and blues. You can pick on a color wheel and play around with it. You can adjust the intensity of it, or you can pick off one of these color catalogs. And right now I've got the GAM color in the Lee catalog. I think probably the time I go production, I'll go do something else. So you would pick a color that you like. Let's say you like antique rose. Close this thing out, and you can hit hide on the HUD, and you can shoot this way. And I want to take the intensity of this light back down and go down here. You can see what we got. Okay, so at this point in time, the wearable lights and the projectors are working with the new color system, and I'm really looking for some feedback on this system. I thought a lot about how do I want to go do this, and what I ultimately ended up deciding was I wanted to have a fairly big window, and then when you're done with it, you just shrink it down and you're done. Really looking for your feedback on this interface, guys. Thanks. Talk to you later.